Welcome, Nottingham, to the Nottingham Board of Select meeting for today, Monday, March 14th, 2022. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, sorry, I'm just gonna get this up and running. Do we have the payroll? Any questions on the payroll?
Nope.
Do you have
The
the,
manifest?
do you have the documents?
I only got my packet.
think
You
that's
must
okay.
have the other big packet.
We got the accounts payable. Oh, just sign, okay.
Should be
I will make a motion that we approve the accounts payable of March 7, 2022 and payroll of March 8, 2022.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Okay.
There were a couple of edits on the minutes, if I remember right. But I didn't have anything beyond,
I think I made them and you resent them, right? Yeah.
yeah. All right, I'll make a motion to approve the public minutes of February 28th, 2022 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Perfect. Reports from boards. Well, CIP's done, right? Correct?
Yep, budget's done, CIP's done.
Planning, we haven't had one since last time I was here, so I showed you what was going on. So,
Right.
nothing on planning. And Marston's, I take it, it's still just,
Well, actually, things are starting to, Courtney's starting to look at the schedule for the summer.
good.
So there are teams that are getting ready to play out there, and she's just kinda starting to put a process in place for how she's gonna balance all of the asks for the field, so. Gonna get active out there.
We're gonna have two fields operational there, or one field operational there?
The one field plus the back field for other
Probably, yeah,
things like,
probably one, yeah.
what, yeah,
Waiting on the grass.
yes, yes.
Okay. Town administrator's report. Chris?
All right, since you met last, other than election stuff, we've posted the roads for the weight limits, those went up last week. We're hopeful, looking at the weather, that the frost will break, this week. It's gonna be warm all week, it's not gonna freeze again, so we're hoping that, this is a short posting period this year, if they're able to, you know, if they dry out after the thaw breaks and, the water comes up, it might be a quick turnaround this year, we're optimistic. But this is that choppy time of year, this is when it's worst. The hearing that was scheduled for last week on St. Laurent v. Nottingham, which is the ZBA Watercross case, that hearing has been postponed at the request of the plaintiff's counsel for illness, not for anything to do with the case. So we got put off. It hasn't been rescheduled yet. Things relating to voting. We obviously just went through an election. Following the votes, unless you tell us otherwise, the department heads are gonna start moving forward on things like ambulance, cruiser, taser purchases, the library lift, all of those things are just gonna start moving unless you tell us otherwise. One thing I could use a nod from you on is we budgeted a cost of living adjustment in the operating budget. It's a line in the operating budget was a 4% cost of living adjustment for all of our permanent year-round employees to take effect April 1st. That is within the budget, so it's not like it automatically happens. You're gonna have to tell us to do it, but that would take effect April 1st if we followed that plan. If you want us to prepare for that, we can do so, but we're gonna need you to tell us to do it. It's a change in the pay rates for everybody, so. If you're prepared to tell us to keep moving that way, we'll have you vote on it next meeting, but, anything else you wanna discuss about it?
We've already had a discussion about this, and we all talked about it, and we all said we were in favor of doing it, so I don't see
Correct.
why we would not.
Yeah, no need
Yeah.
to wait.
Cut. Two articles about the conservation fund and the Mulligan debt. You may recall, there's one that takes money out of the, fund balance, another one that directs the select board and the conservation commission to take it out of the conservation fund. You may recall that your attorney's, interpretation of that was that the voters can't mandate it. The conservation commission and the select board would have to vote to take the money out of the conservation fund if that was gonna be used that way. It's an eligible use, but you have to make the decision to do that. So, do you, as the select board, want to ask the conservation commission to take a vote on that question? Do you wanna vote on it and then send it to them? Do you,
Well, Article 1, well, the article before that said for us to pay it off. It didn't say how, just that we were gonna pay it off.
Article.
Out of the general fund.
Yeah, out of the fund balance, right.
Right.
Article 16 said to do that, and it was amended at the deliberative session to say if 23 passes, 23 takes precedence. So 23 is the one that directs the two boards to take it out of the conservation fund rather than out of the fund balance.
What
We
about
clear- we
that
clear on that?
article that, puts a cap on the conservation fund? Did that pass or no?
That did not.
It did not, okay, okay.
So basically what has happened is the voters have instructed you to do something. They don't really have the authority to tell you what to do, but they've done it. They've directed you to do something. How do you wanna respond, if at all, to that vote? That's the question.
You know,
Well, we have to get joint approval with the conservation.
Correct.
So we could set a meeting with them and have an open discussion with it. And if we can't all decide together of the right avenue to go, then it's,
it's not a joint decision though, right? It's their decision. We only approve expenditures of funds.
right, but we don't, I mean, we can also say no to it.
We can,
So, I mean, again, it's kind of, I
So
mean, I'm not
it's,
arguing the point,
it's-
but.
It's not a joint decision. You're both gonna make the same decision or a
Right,
decision on the same
both coming
question.
together to say, that's what I more meant by it, not
But
by
if-
that.
yeah, if you look at it in totality, the voters are fine with us paying it off, and they would prefer us to use the conservation funds. Right? I mean, if you look at it through the lens of all the articles, so, I mean, we have permission to pay it off from the voters, and let's see if we can make it work with conservation. It's worth a try.
all right, so I think, you know, our action here, we can't compel them to do anything. However, we can write to them, send them an email, you know, asking them to consider it per the guidance we've received from voters.
Yeah.
That's the extent of what we can
What
do.
was the dollar amount on that?
240,000 or something? Was it over 300?
Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. I can look it up though.
I thought it was in the low 200s.
And then they'll come back to
Feels
us and
right.
say either yes or no. And, you know, we action on that or not.
Could we expend some out of one and one out of the other? No, okay.
I just gotta get my hands on the warrant here now.
Page 13, I'll tell you in 1 second. 13. We said it was 16 for the article?
16 was ours, 23
Yeah,
was.
233, 750.
Past the 240, so it's not bad.
235,000. So, you want me to write to them and ask them to take it up and then report back? And then if they say yes, you have a vote to deal with, if they, or a discussion to have anyway.
Yep.
If they say no, then, it's moot, and we take it out of the fund balance, out of Article 16.
Correct.
Okay. Information on the solar exemption that passed is on the town website. If people that want, or people that have solar systems that would like the exception for the value of that, have to apply. There's a form to fill out. It's not automatic. We can't, we might be able to pull out and figure out who has things that we know about, but better for the property owner to tell us that they have it and it's built into their
I
assessment.
think it's their due diligence to do what they have to do to get their, if they want the money.
Yes.
Just like a veteran who wants the tax
Yeah.
credit,
Yep.
he's gotta fill out the paperwork. If they don't fill it out,
Right, we have no plans to pursue them if.
100%.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
We're on
no
the same
other
page.
exemptions are
Yep.
automatic, so.
The road acceptance warrant article, no real news there. I gave you an update in writing on where everything stands with roads. The one question for you that it kind of relates is we are preparing, now that we have, well, a whole bunch of things kind of got in our way with E911. We've got the staff, and we don't have the pandemic, and we have the certainty about, or at least the public chaos around roads is now behind us in many ways. We're ready to move forward with that E911 readdressing project. The first step of that would be a public hearing this spring, and then probably 2 phases of changes in road names and numbers, 1 phase this year and 1 phase next year. The purpose of the public hearing is for you to take, the board, to take in public input before you decide to go forward. But the real work would start for us actually right about now, so I just wanted to check in with you and make sure you still want us to pursue that. We don't wanna do a whole lot of work and then have you say, oh yeah, we never wanted to do that in the first place, so.
But that was voted.
Yeah, last year, we
Favor.
put an article in the
Yep.
warrant to ask for a little bit of money. It really wasn't about the money, it was really about testing
Yeah,
the town's desire to go through that process. It's not gonna cost us that much money, it's just a lot of time. So, we're gonna roll on that, again, unless you tell us to stop. So, just checking in with you on that front.
and at the hearing, at that first hearing, is it to talk about what we want to do? Actioning on the decision of the town, or is it to just, potentially revisit the decision that was made last year?
It is, the warrant article was entirely a local process. It was just us, setting aside a little bit of money and taking the temperature of the town. The public hearing is in state law. It's one of the steps you have to take before you go through this process. The purpose of it is for you to hear from the public before it's too late to stop. In other towns, this is not a popular process. It's inconvenient for residents. It's, it's a pain in the neck. It's a big change for some people. So it is, the purpose of that hearing is to get input from the public, perhaps change your approach. There isn't a whole lot of latitude in how to go about doing this. But there are ways that you can tinker with things, everything from what's the name of this road going to be to, what methodology they use. But the general idea is the state comes in and tells you, these are what the numbers ought to be, and these are the road names you ought to change. And if you vary from that, you kind of defeat the purpose. The purpose is to standardize and get like everybody else, so.
Yeah.
so some people are not gonna find this very popular.
Who knows? I know that's what other towns experience. As you can imagine, it's a
Sure.
it's a nuisance. It's got great benefits, but
So,
not worth
so
it
I
for some
mean,
people.
so we all agreed it was worthwhile enough to put on the ballot. People voted in favor for it, So I think we go forward with the hearing, and if it turns out that it's gonna be a disaster, then we still have the ability.
Yes, this is not a
to
final
say-
thing, yeah, you can still change your mind. but-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure you had the stomach for it before we invest a whole lot of time in it, that's the,
Yeah.
We're without crisis right now, so.
let's manufacture one.
Yeah. Knock on wood, right?
All right, I think that is all I have for you, thank you.
Hey, when is the kitchen starting?
It's already underway.
Okay.
It goes,
Guess I haven't looked in there.
yeah, go look in there, you'll see it's beat up,
Okay.
yeah.
Are they waiting for the cabinets?
That was the last I heard was cabinets, yep. And the old town hall renovation is underway as well. They're waiting for the weather to warm up so they can do that foundation work on the backside.
How's that
Demo's
going, though?
done and,
Oh.
there's a big dumpster full of stuff right there. You see, the demo's done and they're just waiting for weather, so. All on track according to,
That dumpster is not covered by the warrant article, right?
if anybody really wants anything in there, they're welcome to it.
How was our first weekend at the recycling center?
No issues that I'm aware of around
Good.
said subject. Chatted briefly with, one of the guys this morning, didn't hear any horror stories, so.
With, back on the Old Town Hall, have we buttoned up everything that we need to with the school?
No, we still really don't have any kind of written agreement about how that's all gonna work. I think there was some chatter on that while I was out, and I haven't picked up on what was decided there or not, but, now that we are, both you and the school board are past election season, we can focus on that again between now and June, when they would theoretically move in, so.
Should we have them back in to talk about it, or?
I talked about a framework with one of the school board members about how I thought that might look, and they were gonna talk with their side and come back, so, maybe we get one more step through that, and then we come back to you.
Just thinking if it helps move it along by making it official by asking them to come in.
If it comes to that, we will, I think we've just both been distracted
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the season, so. I think everybody's still on the same page. I know the school board is still working through their hiring process. I know they were doing something with, superintendent candidates a week ago, or.
Yeah, I was at that meeting. There was
Okay,
three of
so
them.
you know more than I do, but I know, that process is underway for them. That they probably have their hands full going through
Right.
an election and the
Right.
SAU transition,
Okay.
but I think we'll get there. I'm not nervous.
All set with that?
Yep.
Move to assessing. Everyone want to approve that veterans credit?
Yeah, make a motion, the select board approve the veterans credit, for map 4 lot 20.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Okay, now the fun part of the night. Of course, we can do two things here. We're missing two board members. We could wait for next meeting, or we can do it right now. So I would like to see either one of you guys, since it would be your last term and last year as on this board, to take a leading role. I think my time will come later on when I become the senior guy to take a leading role on this board, but,
You sure?
yep. I think, because when you two go, then it'll be, if we don't know what's gonna happen there, in the next 2 years, I'll be pretty much most the senior man on the board, so.
Okay.
Whether they vote me in to be the chair or not, well, that's a different story, but whatever. We can cross that bridge when it comes to, but, you know, I mean, you guys been here, it's your last time. So I've been vice chair for 2 years. I've been ran enough of these meetings last year that I'm good enough, so
Yeah.
it doesn't, to me, if you guys wanna make that decision,
Yeah, I don't mind doing it to go out with a bang.
yeah, why not?
I'll be vice chair, just so that you're not doing it alone.
Okay, that'd be
Perfect.
great.
Do we wanna wait for the other two to vote on that, or?
I know Tyler has never wanted a position.
No, Tyler doesn't want the position.
No.
So, let's just make a recommendation to who takes the other boards.
What's
We
that?
have somebody has to sit on budget, and somebody has to sit on,
Do you wanna delay?
planning. I will sit on budget,
Yeah, I was gonna offer two.
but you can't as chair.
All right, okay,
Yeah, you're off the hook on committee assignments as
Correct.
chair.
okay. Should we vote on that first? Chair first?
Well, we have to vote, yeah, your position for, I'm just spitfiring and just having a conversation right now towards when we go down to make the, final decisions.
So, so we got planning. So do we want to make those board decisions tonight? I mean, we could say John wants budget and planning and CIP are open.
Right, I think Tyler should take CIP, and I think, planning should go to Ben, because Tyler, the past 2 years, has sat on both planning and budget, just like I have.
Yeah,
And then what's left?
That's it.
300th pretty much wrapped up?
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
I don't see them wrapped up. We got a whole year of activity.
He meant in terms of
planning.
Oh, okay.
planning.
Yeah.
Planning for it, so, and then, we don't usually, it's just CIP, which, I don't know if Tyler would just wanna do that, I mean, it's his last.
It's seasonal, just like
Yeah.
Right.
budget, so I can give him all my templates. I mean, Chris usually has a good packet of starter material.
Do we feel okay
anyways.
appointing people to this position?
I
mean,
do. How do you feel about?
I think it's all fair, we're not asking anybody to go above and beyond and do something they're not doing, it's not like,
Yeah,
I'm doing 3 years now on an assigned board, so.
I don't think they'd have any problem with it, but let's just bookmark it until next time, just so that they have a chance to.
how about if we assign it and then they can trade if they want?
Well, I would like, since I'm sitting here right now, I would like, again, I don't think we can do it because we only have 3 votes. So, 2 votes, we're a quorum, but does that,
Oh, you can.
No,
Three?
you're
can go
three,
then.
you're conducting business.
I would like to be personally put on budgets
Fine,
for this upcoming year.
it's fine.
With what's gonna go on and stuff like this, I feel like I'd be very comfortable being in that position as representing the board. Cause it's gonna be contentious.
I think that's fair because, no judgment or anything, but, Tyler travels a fair amount
Right.
and, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that would be more compatible with the demands of CIP.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Do you have a desire for planning?
I did it twice. I know what it tastes like.
I know I was in over my head.
Oftentimes I felt I was, you know what I mean?
I
And-
totally
and,
was.
It was great to have the books and the binders and, the policies and all that, but I still oftentimes had a hard time figuring out where to get the information I needed,
Would you be willing to be backup for budget or planning if needed?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. If I end up without a committee assignment, I'll back up any one of them,
How do you feel about that?
perfect, man. I just wanna be on budget.
Okay, budget.
You got it, man.
All I wanna do is be on budget.
Okay,
If we can hit it, if anybody needs me to fill in for planning, cause it comes down to, I've got 7 years of planning board experience. I'm just not excited to jump on it again, cause I think I've been there a long enough time, so.
got it.
What time are those meetings? They're usually
7 o'clock.
Wednesdays and or Thursdays. Right?
Wednesdays at 7,
Wednesdays,
pretty
7.
consistently Wednesdays at 7.
That's for planning, and then
Every
budget.
every other Wednesday at 7 is pretty consistent, planning and budget.
And then budget
During the season, has typically been a Thursday.
Thursday, okay. Cause I'm, at least for the near future, I'll be in Boston on Wednesday and Thursday, but the train gets back at like 6:20. So I should be able to make it.
Okay.
I don't foresee any issues filling in if I'm needed.
So, I'm comfortable doing this tonight because we seem to have had a problem getting everybody here on any given night. So, that's why I'm comfortable going forward with it, with what we've got.
And again, this is not like,
Yeah,
You can change this.
And we can change
Anything you can do, you can undo if you wish.
Yeah.
take a majority vote though.
yes, correct.
I make a motion to approve Donna Danis as chair of the Nottingham Select Board for this upcoming year of 2022.
Second.
Well, Motion.
All in favor?
Yeah, okay. I vote to nominate Tony Dumas to be vice chair of the Nottingham Select Board for the upcoming year, 2022.
Second.
All in favor? Hey, here we go.
All right.
And we don't,
Nominate me?
we don't need
You gotta-
motions on committees, right?
No. No, they're ex officio, so, yeah, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Did you get those
Your
written
intent
down?
is clear.
Oh,
Okay.
Lorraine?
John's on budget.
So who wants to do budget? Look out, budget.
Do you want me to continue the meeting, Donna, or do you want to continue to take care of the meeting?
Go ahead, continue.
We have our paving bids. Chris, you want to go over that with us a little bit?
Yeah, so this is a little bit of an oddball. We have an opportunity that you can take or pass. This is not a make or break kind of thing, it's just an opportunity that we wanted to put in front of you. Typically with our asphalt road maintenance work, we go through a bid process right after town meeting. Last year, that process produced a winning bidder in Brock's Industries. Brock's and Sean McLean have discussed just extending last year's agreement into this year with an adjustment in the material price that we typically have in our contracts anyway. That was of interest to me just because of the inflationary environment that we're in. I think I mean, we know for sure, we already see increases in the price of the asphalt itself. That's one portion of this contract. We know that that's up, to last week it was like 20% over last year. We know it's going up because it's driven by the price of oil that goes into the asphalt. And we know, everybody knows where we are with that. The rest of the contract price is the price of doing the work, mobilizing the company, the equipment, the labor, and physically doing the work. They've offered to do that at last year's rates under last year's contract with this year's material prices. Any of our contracts are gonna have material price adjustments in them.
Yep.
Even within the season, we have those. We have, you know, you bid on something and you finalize a bid process in April and you do the work in August. The price of the asphalt fluctuates between April and August, and that is reflected in what we pay. The remainder gets locked in. Only because the price of every flavor of labor and everything is bananas right now. Did this seem attractive to me to be able to lock this in and be done with it? It's, we don't know that the market is gonna cost more. We haven't gone through a bid process, we don't know. It's just a feeling at this point, based on what we're seeing with everything else. So, it would lock all that stuff in, you know, the exact amount of work will be driven by, you know, a visit to the site with the contractor and, you know, talking about the specific scope of work for each location. So we don't know exactly how much we're gonna be able to do yet or where. But this would kind of lock that in. It would start it sooner. It's probably good for the company because it, you know, it locks that up for them. They know they don't have to go through a process and risk losing the work through a bid process, right? So there's something in it for them. And what's in it for us is that knowing that we're paying last year's price for the work portion of it. Typically we wouldn't do that because we just don't have any visibility in the market and it's too big a number. It's our biggest contract of the year. So if that's of interest to you, we can do it. We have to do it kind of soon. We gotta make a decision to do that, or we just start our usual bid process and we'll take whatever we get in the market. So to Sean and I, it felt like it was worth it in this case, but not a
We already have the money set aside for this paving, right?
Yes, we have
That part of our
two
$300,000
pools, yeah,
seal
two
coating
pools of
and-
money. We have some in the operating budget and some in the such standalone warrant article. So what changes from here forward is not the total amount we're gonna spend, but probably the amount of work we're actually gonna get done. How many feet of road are we gonna do?
So would this stabilize that money, is basically by doing this, we're locking in a rate so that we won't see a $50,000 increase if we waited till August?
Well, we can, in
What's the
reality,
real, I mean, how is this going to affect our budget coming up next year if we lock this in right now? Is this gonna benefit us by keeping it? Is there, what, like, is that,
well,
I
we
understand
can't
savings
overspend the
money.
budget. So what we really do is, we have a budget. We have a $600,000, and we start the bid process saying, we think we can do about this much of these projects with this money. And what flexes is not necessarily what we spend, but the work that we do. We will pick and choose different segments of road depending on what we can afford. So there's, you know, the roads that we've identified, and then there's one or two others that are in the mix that maybe we have enough to do this, or maybe we have enough to go this far. So we're actually not flexing so much the amount of the budget or the amount we spend, but we're flexing the amount of work we get done, and all the
so
work we
by doing this, if everything worked out, we could get more work done?
That's our feeling, yes. We don't, I can't sit before you
I'm
and
just trying to
say
get to
I'm
the,
gonna-
what we're,
Yeah,
where
it's-
we're actually going with this,
Yeah,
to that, okay.
yeah, we're locking in a portion of this at last year's prices.
Yeah, I think if we went to bid, we'd end up with new labor rates and the
Oh, they're going up.
increased material costs, so.
That was our feeling. We don't have any, I can't sit before you and say this guaranteed to happen, and you just give up the knowledge of that if you were to extend the contract from last year. So that's why our feeling is the same. It's gonna go up.
I'm seeing it where I'm working, so.
Right, we see it with everything. We just heard from the Mack truck thing that we bought a year ago, that Mack bumped it up $2,000, and, you know, we're about to hear from the police cruiser. We'll see what they come back with from, you know, what we asked for versus what the original quote was for, versus when you actually sign the paperwork, what are they, you know, what's gonna be available to you. And so, we're seeing it, you're seeing it in your work, it's happening. Probably happens every year, but this year it's big.
I'd say do it. If they're gonna guarantee, if they're gonna give us what they did last year and stuff like this,
Yeah.
perfect.
All right, well, I'll make a motion, the select board authorizes the public works director and town administrator to extend the 2021 vendor contracts for asphalt paving to 2022 projects.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Thank you, Chris.
Okay.
Wow.
That was the end of the list. Do we have any non-publics to do, or?
If you want to.
Contract.
Can we refinance that? I mean,
We need to talk to Mr. Stern.
oh, we can actually, part, he can be, he can sit with us this time. Yes, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
The only thing I have for review actions for that
She did send something about, today, I got the message on here, you guys didn't see it, 3 o'clock from Sue Mooney, about the emblems for the scenic roads
Oh,
that they're still looking for from us to approve.
Do they have a design?
It is our Nottingham round logo, and where it says, instead of Defender of Liberty, it'll say scenic road.
Let's put that on the agenda for next time, and you can tell us what you wanna do.
I just want a price, a firm
Oh,
price.
okay.
That's what the, that
is
is
that
the
what she's
drive.
looking for?
Well, I think that's the driving point of anybody, if they're $150, I don't,
Well, if we actually have a design, then we can go get a price.
yeah,
Yeah, great.
Okay.
so. I think she
She-
was contacting Kelly today about that, so that's gonna
Okay.
be coming up,
Okay.
so, cause I was CC'd on that message.
Okay.
Which I think they'll look really nice if we did have them on the roads, but,
Yep. We've been talking about that for a long time.
yeah.
Anything else? I'll make a motion, we go into non-public per RSA 91-A:32A.
Second.
Motion second roll call.
Hi, Donna Danus.
Hi, Tony Dumas.
Hi, John Moore.
Night, Steve.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and, I went by the cemetery and got votes for you, John.
Did you? Thank you. I know, I appreciate that. They didn't say much, but, you know, they all count. He went to the cemetery to get me votes.
You want to say good night, Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chairman?
Good night, Nottingham.